This is Comet Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason Glick. What's going on?
It's like not a whole lot, John, but I did get a chance to see Justice League since we've last talked, and
Oh, did you see it the first weekend or the second weekend?
I did go out and see it the first weekend, and as you probably would expect, the theater wasn't all that crowded, to be honest.
Yeah, I heard actually.
Uh,
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, um, I could tell you that I've seen the first 30 minutes of it, and I will finish watching the rest of it when I get a chance to plop my ass down in a theater, which hopefully will
Okay,
be
so
this
you
weekend.
enjoyed it. You enjoyed those first 30 minutes enough to go and check out the rest of it. Then
I had no objections to it in those first 30 minutes. I did not have any. I wasn't repulsed or anything.
I was not repulsed either, sir.
So yeah. I mean, just seeing, I was like, oh, this seems fairly decent. Although since it happens to be a direct sequel, and I don't know if you'll be able to address this or not, to Batman versus Superman, I'm trying to figure out why they're so sad. Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that's like the biggest thing weighing on it right now, because I mean it's basically following up Batman versus Superman, which is like a huge drag on its like box office potential and critical reception, I would imagine, because it was like this was something that was really meant to be DC's Avengers, and okay, I saw it, I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it on the level that it's like I can enjoy your average Marvel movie on. I mean, like, yeah, maybe it's not quite as good as Thor Ragnarok, but the problem is that this is the film that should have been like a level of magnitude better than Thor Ragnarok.
Yep. So, as I promised you in our pre-chat before we started recording, I'll throw in my few cents on this. And I'll address one of the things that I have heard on the interwebs, and that is like, well, it opened at 94. I think it was like 94, 95 million, maybe something like that. 97 million? I
Close
don't
enough,
remember.
yeah.
Somewhere in
Like
that
nine,
neighborhood.
like
And
not like just over 93.
right. So, and most people are like, well, there was a lot of people who were saying, like, well, Guardians of the Galaxy did that in their opening weekend. And I'm like, well, that's apples and oranges,
Guardians
actually.
of the Galaxy wasn't a sequel, so
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the issue here.
Yeah. So the big difference here is that you are talking about Warner, DC's, their core three at the very least, which
Yeah,
is has always been Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
they're Trinity. Yeah.
Their trinity. And if it brings out, it doesn't really bring the crowds to the theater, you've got a problem. Guardians of the Galaxy, that is basically, I mean, like, it's. Did anyone know about Guardians of the Galaxy outside of the trailers before the first movie even aired? I
Just the
don't.
hardest of the hardcore Marvel crew.
Yeah, and I don't even think that they had really huge runs. You've reviewed them before, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that they would turn on. However, you would also say that that there was a piece of it where they were already writing on the MCU in a sense, which has already been well established. Now, this is where I would throw it together. That that I think that I think that personally, that Warner Brothers and DC, they really need to think about how they're marketing this. They need to pull in those Avengers numbers on their first opening weekend and not kind of tepid numbers like this.
The
And
problem is I think that this is like a knock on effect of their Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. It's like after these films premiered to really big numbers and made like well over 300 million in domestically alone. It's like, but they weren't really well liked at all. And now it's like hey, even though Wonder Woman like is like the biggest grossing superhero movie of the year so far, it's like Justice League is performing well under that at this point as well,
yeah,
because it's like it's a far different kind of movie than Wonder Woman, and also just like its position is coming from the same people who made Batman vs Superman, and when you're asking like people to trade on their memories of that in relation to this film, that's why it hasn't worked so far. I mean, yeah, it's like there's even after like Snyder had to drop out due to personal reasons earlier this year, and just they brought in Joss Whedon to handle co-writing duties and additional reshoots. Um, it's like I said, the end result for Justice League is a film I enjoyed, like I was entertained by, but was basically as entertaining as your average like a Marvel movie, but not like something on the level of say an Avengers film.
Yeah.
And they this is something they need to be like at least on the level of the Avengers movies, like if not bigger.
Yeah, and in order for them to really do that, they're going to need to refocus. And I think that they should build up that. After all, Iron Man got like what 2 movies. We had a Hulk movie, at least one. I'm not going to count the Ang Lee one because really
No,
that
that's
doesn't really, that really
that's its
isn't.
own thing.
So you have that. You had Thor. I mean, you had a lot. You had Captain America. You had a lot of like setup for the Avengers, and yeah, one might say, okay, well, they had Man of
Yeah.
Steel. Okay.
Yeah, I think most of the setup for Justice League was to be charitable, mixed at best. So, I mean, Wonder Woman is like the only DCEU film they've released so far that has been like unanimously enthusiastically received in terms of like critical and audience reception. I mean, at this point, I've heard that DC may be using their Flash movie, which I heard they're maybe actually calling it Flashpoint, to reset the it's like the continuity at this point. Basically give us something that's more palatable. It's like I mean, it's like it's like that's it's like the reboot card is something that they shouldn't be pulling this early in their run. I mean, like what Marvel has it's basically saying that the Avengers, the next 2 Avengers movies are basically going to be bringing an end to the current cycle of films, and you know what? That's after like 17 movies, really. So
Yeah.
so there you go. I mean, it's like it's like the fact that DC is like pulling this card after what like 6 or let's see, one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6. What? By the time Flash hits, it'll be like 7 movies deep at this point. If you're pulling the reboot card at this point, it's like you're doing something wrong. I mean, it's like, and it's like I will admit, like Zack Snyder is a talented filmmaker, to be sure, but he's probably not the guy that should have been given a Superman movie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I liked Superman in Justice League. I mean, when he shows up at the end when I'm stepping to sell something, hey, like I'm a big fan of Justice as well. It's like that's the kind of thing I believe. I can believe in, like the Superman I want to believe in. Oh shit, John.
What?
I'm sorry, I spoiled it for you. Superman's in the Justice League movie.
Oh my gosh! No way! Really?
Yes.
Honestly.
I'm sorry, man.
You've killed it for me.
killed-
Why? Anyway. My advice, and I don't think that they're going to listen to this podcast, but here's what I would hope. So instead of handing out advice, strengthen your properties. Wonder Woman's a great film. Strengthen that character. Aquaman. Just focus on those things. Build those characters up so that you can give someone a reason to want to see those films. Like the next Justice League film. If you decide to do,
make sure give Superman a chance to be like straight, like honestly straightforwardly heroic. I mean, fuck. I don't care if he's like rescuing kittens from trees. I honestly like my Superman to be rescuing kittens and trees. Really?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the you look at I've seen the original Richard Donner Superman films from the 80s. Was it late 80s or early 80s, like late 70s or something like that?
Very late. First one came out in '79. The rest of them are products of the '80s.
Yeah, and you can see the cheesiness and effects. Gene Hackman is it Gene Hackman, right? That plays Lex
Luther as
Luthor.
like cheesy real estate like thief, but it's like that like Christopher Reeve being like that honest to God straightforward Boy Scout Superman. Like that's
Yeah,
it's like we want the Superman who is like not afraid to be it's like straightforwardly cheesily heroic, really. And
exactly.
it's like I will say that of the two post credits mid credits and post credits sequences in the film, the mid credit sequence where Superman races the Flash, that is easily the more entertaining of the two, no question.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like just like it's like yeah, like this film shows that Henry Cavill can be like a really like a good like straightforwardly entertaining Superman, and I know that Whedon is committed to doing like a Batgirl film, which I'm sure is going to be great. But it's like if I was if I was Warner Brothers, I would like okay, I would tell them like okay, you're letting Whedon do his Batgirl movie, great. Then after that, you put a gun to his head. Okay, now give us a Superman movie. Give us a Superman movie we can believe in. So,
Okay,
so
cool.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, Justice League, it's worth your time as much as the average Marvel movie is, but that's the problem. I mean, it should be much more than that. So I mean, like, so John, like, yeah, you saw the first 30 minutes. It gets better,
All right.
and also the rumors that that Ben Affleck will be replaced by Jake Gyllenhaal. Sure, that's perfectly fine by me because the Batman they've established so far in these movies is kind of like the Batman who is too old to be doing this shit. So, I mean, I like Ben Affleck as Batman in Batman vs Superman and
Yeah.
Justice League, but they've positioned him as being too old for this shit.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring in someone younger like Jake Gyllenhaal, or I don't know, is Jake Gyllenhaal younger? I can't remember.
I think he is a little younger.
Yeah.
I do.
So there you go. Like, if you want to bring in someone younger, cool, that's fine. It's like, but there you go. So like I said, if you haven't seen Justice League, like I said, it's worth your time, but it's only about as entertaining as your average Marvel movie. To damn it with faint praise.
Mhm.
But
There you go.
I can think of worse ways to damn a film with faint praise.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that that's not the only thing you're here to talk about. So,
Yeah, I guess I should talk about actual comics.
yeah, all right. So, what exactly are you going to talk? Which comic are you going to cover? Let me guess. Are you going to cover something about the Justice League, sir?
You are right, sir.
Ding, 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 ding. All right.
Yes, because it's like I haven't followed a lot of the Justice League over the years, but the one thing I did follow enthusiastically back in the dark days that we call the '90s is JLA by Grant Morrison, and you say, hey, well, a Justice League comic by Grant Morrison, sign me the fuck up, yeah. So. But that was like almost 2 decades ago at this point. I mean, back in the mid '90s when it's like when Morrison was set to take over the Justice League. This is a series that was commercially moribund, and people were like, okay, like DC's gonna put out a new Justice League series, but it's like, hey, it's like the previous series was canceled, so you're gonna get the guy who this is the guy who did cult titles like. Animal Man and Doom Patrol and weirdo titles for Vertigo like The Invisibles, and you're going to get him to write a superhero title? That's crazy. Well, here's the thing about Morrison. It's like that's probably well apparent, like in retrospect. It's like it's like while he was basically seen as a writer of weird titles back in the mid '90s, he's a guy who was thoroughly willing and enthusiastic to work in the mainstream as well. I mean, this is a guy who not only has like who after Justice League not only went on to have lengthy runs on X-Men and then on Superman titles both on Action Comics for the New 52 and for All-Star Superman like as its own 12-issue maxi series, and also for a 70+ issue run on Batman. So yeah, Morrison is a guy who recognizes that it's like that he wants to work in the mainstream, but is the mainstream like man enough to handle his all the crazy ideas he brings to his superhero titles? His 40 issue or so run on JLA basically showed yes, it is. Now, for a series that was done in the mid 90s, does it hold up as well as it did back when I first read it? No, but it's still pretty entertaining. I mean, from the first volume, which basically takes a stock story of a of a great group of superheroes called the Hyper Clan, who shows up and offers to bring all these great things to the Earth. You know, like turning it's like bringing turning the Sahara Desert into a green into a green into a green bounty, murdering like evil supervillains. It's like basically just doing all the stuff that the JLA is not willing to do. But at the same time, the JLA is coming under attack from these unknown assailants. It's like, and so what's going on here? It's like, and like this first story, New World Order, which I bought way back in the day when it was released as a $6 trade paperback, because yeah, they actually used to do shit like that back in the day. It's like when you have a story where like this these superheroes show up, promise the world to everyone, but are turned to be shady as a result. Well, New World Order is kind of the benchmark for that title, for that kind of story, especially when like as Morrison carefully lays the groundwork for what these aliens, the HyperClan, actually are, and when he has Batman, like like when the League is taken out, like because when the because with the Morrison's versions daily, there's like big seven. There's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, like a Martian Manhunter. It's like and Aquaman. It's like, and you got the big seven right there. And like, hey, Batman's like, hey, he's back in the 90s, Batman wasn't the all-conquering hero that he was. So when Morrison has Batman show up and take out 3 of these superpowered HyperClan, it's like, that's kind of like a big fucking deal, really. Also, when Morrison has Aquaman use his talking to fish powers and take out one of the HyperClan by giving them a seizure because he's talking to their their marine inherited ancestor part of their brain. It's like that's really kind of typical of what Morrison is doing in this course run. He's taking a very science fiction oriented take on these characters, and it works really well throughout the course of the run. In fact, Morrison really it's like he's got lots of crazy ideas for the characters. I mean, like from the when you get to the second volume, American Dreams, where you've got the Justice League fighting the host of heaven. It's like after they're going after a rogue angel named Zariel. It's like, and you have Superman, who is not only in his Electric Blue period, not only does he after the moon starts crashing into the earth because the demons behind this evil plot are manipulating things, Superman uses electric powers to create a magnetic pole on the moon to repel it from Earth. That's widely recognized as the best use of his electric blue powers during his entire run as in that particular incarnation. It's like, and then as soon as he does that, in the same issue, he goes down to Earth to fight one of the bull angels of the Pax Day, who was leading the assault. And it's like as he's fighting this angel, like Angel says, "Yield!" And Superman's like, "Never!" And Flash is like, he's Superman. He's fighting an angel, and he was worried about not living up to his legend. That's the kind of craziness you can expect in Grant Morrison's run. And the arc after that basically has the crew falling, has the entire team falling prey to a mind control like ploy by one of their older forgotten foes, the Key, who is banking on the fact they're going to wake up from their Elseworlds realities and realize what kind of thing they're trapped, what kind of situation they're trapped in, and it's really clever, and it all hinges on the new Green Arrow at the time, Connor Hawke, to bail him out at the same time that he's using his dad's trick arrows, such as the explosive arrow, the handcuff arrow, the boomerang arrow. It's like the knockout arrow. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, Morrison is, like I said, he respects continuity, but he's also looking for ways he can reinterpret it as well. Same goes for the following arc, Rock of Ages, where he brings in the Injustice Gang, basically it's like the evil version, like all the evil counterparts of the current Justice League, like from Lex Luthor, the Joker, Ocean Master. It's like everyone, and it's like, well, this is the arc that I really loved back when I first bought it, but it's also probably kind of typical of the issues I have with Morrison's run, because, like I said, Morrison's run is a huge run of ideas, and while bringing in the Injustice Gang for a 6-issue arc, these days it would probably be enough, but in this case, Morrison crams the 6-issue arc with enough ideas for something that would easily run for twice its length these days. Like for something that, like I said, you got the Justice Gang, but you've also got Lex Luthor coming across a Philosopher's Stone, which allows him to manipulate reality to his will, and an evil version of the new god Metatron, who recruits Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman to try and find a way to prevent the timeline from coming under Darkseid's grasp, but is actually a evil. It was actually like a trick to actually allow Darkseid to take over their timeline, and also a giant it's like a world of superheroes known as Wonder World. It's like that eventually allows these three superheroes to come back and return to our time, but that has actually been taken over by Darkseid. And you got this 2-issue dystopia of Darkseid where it's like where our heroes try to save our timeline, save this corrupted timeline, but wind up having to deal with all this new crazy ass new god stuff. I mean, there's really good stuff here, such as how Green Arrow and and the Atom are able to bypass Darkseid's force field because they realize that, hey, Darkseid can see us. So all the Atom has to do is just shrink down to the size of a photon to be light in order to go through the Darkseid's force field, because he can see them. So light can penetrate his force field. There you go. It's like that kind of entertaining craziness. But it's like I said, it gets to the point where it's lots of great ideas, but also it's to the point where it's sometimes these stories are only ideas. I mean, Morrison is usually really great at still offering enough character-based stuff to get you to care about these things, even if he's just flowing off on idealistic tangents. I mean, it's even with the following volume, Strength in Numbers, where we introduce the villain Prometheus, who is kind of evil Batman, and he takes out the Justice League almost single-handedly. It's that's fun. And then you got 4 issues of fill-ins, which would be a bad thing, except for the fact that these fill-ins are done by Mark Waid. So we've got Waid dealing with having the Justice League deal with attacks on probability from a scientist who managed to sever the like the causality links between protons in order to generate himself infinite good luck, and a two-parter where he has the team meet up with Adam Strange, who has been deranged by the fact that his wife was killed. Now he's trying to like bring her back under the delusion of like some an evil alien skull faced slave race. So I mean these are like this is good. These are good fun. These are good, fun, entertaining stories. But like I said, it's more like thoroughly idea based. And I will say that the final two issues of this volume where it's like where it brings back Star the Conqueror as a almost continent-sized threat is are very entertaining, but it's more entertaining from the fact that it brings in a very, very unlikely Vertigo character to propel a plot, and he's kind of just sort of shove everyone along the lines of like, hey, you're going like this is a story that's going to succeed because of the intervention of this character. And it's really cool and all, but it's like it's kind of also just like really propelling the story is really being propelled solely by this character, which it's cool, but there you go. The let's see, where are we on now? The fifth volume, Justice for All, has a team going against a military trained group of superhumans, which is pretty entertaining, like on its own terms, especially since when you have the the army firing on Superman and then basically saying, "Yo, fuck it, man." It's like, why are we firing on Superman, man? He's goddamn Superman. We don't want to fire on him. It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty entertaining for the most part. It's like and there's some entertaining twists along the way. There's also a interesting middle story by Mark Millar back in the days when he was still on good terms with Grant Morrison, where the team recruits the Atom to help fight like Amazo, the android who is able to like absorb the powers of the Justice League, and that it ends in like a really clever twist where Superman basically uses authority as leader of the Justice League to defeat the android through his own authority, which is it's fun, it's clever. It's kind of like when it's a reminder when Miller isn't indulging in like, hey, pushing the envelope to make things seem really edgy. Like he can actually be pretty entertaining as a writer. So you've got the team up. I guess I wouldn't say obligatory team up with the Justice Society of America when they have to reconcile a fight between it's like a genie from the fifth dimension versus the genie of one of their of the JSA's old members. It's pretty fun to see the members of these two teams interact, and also for Captain Marvel to show up and work with Green Lantern as they both wind up being sucked into the fifth dimension to deal with a the imp that is causing all the problems here. It's good fun, and the volume is closed out by two stories, co-written by one is co-written by Mark Waid with Devin Grayson that basically explains why the Justice League isn't intervening in the No Man's Land storyline that was going on in the Batman titles at the same time, and the other one is a more clever story that basically has Batman telling the team to go after this guy who's got some let's see what was the information he's got. The real culprit behind No Man's Land Bruce Wayne. So if you're wondering, wait, why is Batman telling the JLA to go after Bruce Wayne? Well, like, this is Mark Waid. He's got a good reason. It's pretty entertaining. So this is all leading into the final volume with which is called World War III, which has the Justice League basically facing off against it's like a weapon from the old gods. It's like not the new gods, like Darkseid. It's like a High Father. It's like, no, this is like one from the old god, a weapon from the old gods that killed them off, and is set to destroy this universe as well. And it's like a giant bomb named Mageddon that is set to destroy everything in this universe, and only the Justice League and and everyone on Earth stand in its way. It's a very entertaining story that it's got lots of it's got lots of the cleverness that has that's Mark Morrison's run. It's like, but it's also got there's also various shortcuts that Morrison takes as well at the end. I mean, I really like the bits where Green Lantern a trash talks Luthor after he's being he's being absorbed as a pawn in Mageddon's takeover of Earth. I like the bit when Animal Man shows up. It's like to let everyone know. It's like, hey, this is how Mageddon is turning everyone on Earth against each other. I loved the bit where where Zario, the angel that had joined the Justice League during Morrison's run, returns to heaven and finds out that everyone in heaven is preparing to abandon the current creation, and and they're saying this version of the universe is fucked, man. It's like, we're gonna go ahead and create a new one. I mean, when you're talking about stakes for the threat ahead of them, that's really great. I don't think having you can't really beat having the heavenly host just basically saying, hey, you know what, this version of creation is done for. We're gonna go ahead and work on the next one right now. So that's great. Then when you have and then Batman try and motivate Superman in order to get over everything and save the world, that works. But then when Superman's big plan is to absorb the anti-sunlight of the bomb, well, that seems like kind of like a cop out, really. It's like, and even though the Morrison's run ends on a hey, Batman, don't you really love this shit when we go out and save the world? It's like, that's really kind of perfect. So, I mean, Morrison's run of JLA really has so many ideas. I mean, it's like that probably could have they probably could have fueled a run that is twice its length, really. As it is, I mean, in the dark days of the mid '90s, this was like a bright, shining beacon as far as how good superhero comics could be. These days, it's like maybe it's not that bright of a beacon, but it's still pretty entertaining. Same goes for Mark Waid's subsequent run on JLA because he took it over full time after Morrison. Not for a long time, but if there was one thing about Waid's run I could recommend, I'd say you should just grab the ultra-sized graphic novel he did with Brian Hitch called Heaven's Ladder, which it's kind of a straightforward Star Trek story about Justice League dealing with aliens who stole the Earth, but it's like if you're doing a giant-sized graphic novel, Hitch makes it makes it a gorgeous, beautiful read. So, but Morrison's run can be picked up um, in the it's like in the first 4 volumes of the JLA, the deluxe edition. In addition to the first story in Wade's run, which basically has the team dealing with an assault by Ra's al Ghul, who has managed to steal Batman's protocols for taking down the Justice League. Yeah, because really, if someone's going to try and find a way to take down the Justice League, it's Batman. And whoops, it's like Ra's al Ghul has got the means to take them down because he's hacked Batman. So there you go. Oh, and I guess it's worth noting that the majority of Morrison's run was illustrated by a guy named Howard Porter, and Porter does some really fantastic dynamic art for the majority of this run, even though it's really big on like 90s style badass posing. It's more in the early portions than the later portions, but he's also a guy who is very much like in sync with Morrison in terms of how crazy things need to get when it comes to showing all the over the top stuff that Morrison decides to show. So yeah, it's lots of stuff to talk about here, but I really enjoyed Morrison's JLA. So John, it's like any random thoughts on your end about any of this stuff, I guess?
Well, it sounds like I should recommend from you, but more importantly,
yes.
I am going to take you up on that recommendation. Sounds very, very interesting. And when was it published? When was this published?
Mid 90s.
Mid 90s. Okay, right where I mean that's kind of what you had mentioned, and but it was just double checking on that. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the days when it's like everyone was expecting things to be like really extreme. But Morrison, Morrison tapped into like the crazy ass Silver Age stuff, but did it with a more modern sensibility for the time that allowed everyone to really get on board, and allowed the series to run for well over 100 issues after he left.
All right. So do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Okay, well, I can say with certainty that next time I will be talking about Marvel's latest event, Secret Empire, because it is actually in the mail for me right now. So, so no delays this time. And unlike everyone else, I'm actually hoping to enjoy this compared to the word of mouth, because I've actually enjoyed the build up that's been done for it so far. So we'll see.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
All right, laters.
All right.